very important back in the days because for over 500 years we've been able to take the boat from Malmö over to Copenhagen. And we had a tradition here in Malmö called Tuva, which meant that you jumped on a boat and as soon as you passed this lighthouse, you were allowed to start drinking. As you can see, the tradition is still very much alive here in Malmö. But yeah, as soon as you pass this line, and that was the whole tradition, having fun on a boat over to Copenhagen. When you got seasick or maybe just tired of going on the boats, you continue to have fun in Copenhagen. So much that the Danes actually started a saying about us, that went, keep Copenhagen clean and take a Swede to the ferry. But then in the year 2000, we built ourselves a bridge over to Denmark. And the bridge completely conquered out the fair line traffic and the last boat exited Malmö Harbor in 2005. And now we've come out to the bigger part of the harbor, and even here it's looking kind of, once again, calm. The whole area we see here on our right hand side is called the New Harbor, which is a quite funny name because it's over 150 years old. Besides that, soon this will awaken again with 10,000 new apartments, restaurants, cafes, probably a gym somewhere as well. The water you see in front of you, but also soon around the corner, will fill up with artificial islands, urban jungles, and bridges will connect everything together. So they say in around 25 years you won't be able to recognize yourself once again here in the harbor.
Okay.
Now the captain has prepared a turn, making it possible for you to see the newest skyscraper that we have here in Malmö. And I'm of course talking about the turning torso that you can see right in front of you. It reaches 190.4 meters up in the sky, and it's supposed to look like a human torso that is turning around itself 90 degrees. I don't know if you can see any human torso in the building. For me it has always looked more like a bunch of toilet rolls that they have stacked upon each other. But I think it's up to each one of you to self-decide what you see in the building. And it's actually a residential building, so you can live inside of it and have the greatest view here in Malmö. And the whole area we see here right in front of us is today called the Western Harbor, with luxurious apartments, schools and offices. The newest building for this year is of course this silver one over here called the Docks. And if you want to live on the top floor, you have to pay around 32 million Swedish kronor. That's not really in my tax bucket, but I can see that people have already moved in. So as you notice, today this is a very luxurious neighborhood, but from the beginning, this was actually the shipyard here in Malmö, also known as the Kockums shipyard. And during large parts of the 1900s, it was actually one of the world's largest shipyards. We made everything from supertankers to submarines, but also Bove that you saw earlier. We had over 4,000 workers and it was the heart of the city. But then came the oil crisis, the economical crisis and the globalization. All of that combined made it hard for Kockums to compete with the rest of the world. So we had to shut down the production here in Malmö. Thankfully, we have kept some of the old buildings from that time, and those are the ones we're going in to see now of this next bridge. But if you were a little awake, you heard that I said that Turning Torso was the newest skyscraper that we have here in the harbor. And that's because the first skyscraper in Malmö is also placed out here in the harbor. And it's actually that white building over there behind the bridge and the truck that is just coming over. In the 1930s, 1930s, this was actually considered a skyscraper because it had 10 floors. Can you imagine building 10 floors? Of course, we have heard about the Empire State Building that was built just a few years before with over 100 floors. But here in Sweden, we like things to be lagom, which means not too much nor too little. So 10 floors, perfect skyscraper. We don't need any more than that. Yep. Oh, they're empty. And here we're coming out to the old shipyard. Here you can see how we have transformed the old buildings into new things, but also built some new apartment buildings here in the harbor. Behind those brown doors you see in the water is actually the opening to the dry dock where we built Bove back in the days. And it's one of the few dry docks that we still have here in Malmö. And in between the houses you can see a weirdly shaped cone building with some greenery, or now it's not green anymore, but some greenery on the wall and a pointed roof. This is actually a bomb shelter from the Second World War. And the thought behind it was if bombs would fall on it, they would simply bounce off, almost like tennis balls. But as you can imagine, that's not really how bombs work, and thankfully we never had to experience that here in Malmö. They're on the every bridge. And now we're coming out to the old submarine area of Kockums. So here is where they built and then tested the submarines, but today we have restaurants, cafes and other activities here in the harbor. Historically, Malmö has always been a city deeply connected to both the harbor and as a blue-collared city. But when the shipyard and many other factories disappeared from the area, we needed something new to focus on. So we decided to become a city based on knowledge and technology. And if you walk around in the harbor today, you can read Malmö University on many of the buildings, because that's the new direction for the city. And I think we've placed the university out here as a way for us to both remember our history, but also looking forward to our future. And even though Malmö University is one of the youngest in Sweden, we have one of the best teachers program here in Malmö. Yeah, this bridge doesn't have any bottles. Here you can see the turning torso once again, but now without any houses blocking the view. Here in Malmö we have a saying that goes, har du sett Malmö, har du sett världen, which means that have you seen Malmö, you have seen the world. And it's not only our ego we talk about when we say this, because there's a little bit of truth in this saying. Because here in Malmö we have almost the whole world represented amongst our citizens. We're lists 4 nations, otherwise the whole world is here in Malmö, and I think that's pretty amazing. I can also guess what you're all thinking. What 4 nations is it that you don't have here in Malmö? Trust me, I tried to figure it out, but the city's website hasn't disclosed it. So my tip for you is just to walk around here in Malmö and talk to us and see what nationality you can't find. And now we've talked quite a lot about the modern history here in Malmö. Then you might wonder where it all started. Well, the oldest written record we have of Malmö is from the 1100s. Back then we were only a little Danish fisherman village called Malmöja, located in the area today known as Triangeln. And it was thanks to the fish, especially the herring, and later on the industries that we grew to the city that we are today. And today we're the 3rd largest city in Sweden. And I actually want us to travel back in time to the 1400s to be exact. And I want to set the scene for you because everything that we have seen up until this point is actually man-made from the 1800s and forward when boats moved out to the harbor. So in the 1400s, all of this was just water. Malmö still belonged to Denmark, but we weren't this big important city that we think about today. The bigger and more important cities in this time period was of course Copenhagen, Roskilde and Lund. So with that in mind, we go back in time to the 1400s.